Your dental marketing agency is lying to you.
Lying to you. Welcome to the very first episode of Chairside with Dominate Dental. I'm Megan.
I am Josie.
And this is our first podcast episode. This is the
First
launch.
podcast, the launch of Chairside with Dominate Dental. It's been a long time in the making.
Long time. We have been chatting about this for months and months and months. Tell everyone what Chairside is actually about, because obviously how many podcasts are, we don't want another podcast, right? This isn't just a podcast, is it, Josie?
No, it's not. The alternative name for Chairside with Dominate Dental was Not Another Bloody Podcast. So we are not just churning out marketing jargon, tips 101. It's not about that. This is going to be actionable, real life scenarios based off 10 plus years of chairside industry experience.
Exactly.
So we're going to go through actionable growth tips, how we're going to optimize what you're already doing, how we're going to make massive changes to the infrastructure of your practice from front of house through to your clinicians. Ultimately, to turn it into a growth engine. This is what we want to do. Dentistry in 2026 is a machine.
Absolutely.
We've got to keep feeding it. We've got to replace those cogs.
Absolutely.
And we've absolutely got the expertise to show you how to do that.
100%. For a bit of context for people listening, my role at Dominate Dental is I am the social media manager. So you will often see my face and Josie's face a lot, which and here are very familiar, gorgeous accents, our multifaceted company. Josie, do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do, which is a much more significant role in my opinion?
No, stop. We are a mighty team, a small but mighty team of incredible women. Dominate Dental, my team, and the culture that we have is absolutely one of my proudest achievements. I am managing director of Dominate Dental. People who know me will be sick of the sound of this brummy voice. Have a lot to say, and I always say it with absolute truth and gusto and experience behind it. I am the first person that you will meet, likely the first face you will see on our socials and on any calls that you book to walk through your discovery of your practice and how we can work with you. And as I said, my team are absolutely phenomenal. We have very organically become a team of women, which I am not mad about. No. Our clients are diverse and unique. We absolutely don't just target women in dental practices and women in business, but we have become a real powerhouse over the last kind of 3 to 4 years of fine-tuning A players, making sure that everybody's at the top of their game. And it's taken Dominate Dental to where it is right now. And as I said, aside from my wonderful children, husband and dog and home, is absolutely one of my proudest achievements.
Oh, you're making me blush.
Well, you guys are awesome. Megan, tell us about the core of what you do and your role in Dominate Dental.
So I think I am such a big advocate for social media anyways, and I always feel like social media is one of those things that practices often overlook. They don't realise the significance and importance of it. So it's often like the last thing on the list. And look, we completely understand how, as a busy practice owner, you are back-to-back in appointments, you are running the days-to-days of the business. Thinking about actually having to shoot content is probably the last thing on people's minds.
Yeah, it's too much.
The poor front of house team often don't have that experience as well. So they often really struggle and kind of like struggle with the confidence to actually shoot that content as well. A lot about what I do is hugely about strategy, making sure that we're positioning them in the absolute best possible way, because you're competing with a lot of people. A lot of people are on social media. So it's about putting the things that we can do is put your content absolutely front of mind first. So when they do fall into that journey, when people are looking to book with your practice, you're up there right at the top. It's very clear who you are, what you do, why people should choose you over the practice down the road, and just supporting them day to day through the content, because it's a scary thing. And like, we do it every day. We still hate it. We absolutely hate having to film every single day and show up. It is a lot, but it's my job to make sure that they are empowered to do that as well.
Yeah, and you are damn good at it, may I say.
Thank
absolutely.
you. I try my best.
I like to think of our social media department as the beautiful glitter and sprinkle on top of the service that we deliver.
Of course.
Which is, we do work with our practices from a completely holistic 360 angle. We take on everything. We're not just running your ads, or we're not just posting on your socials. We are literally working with every single team member.
Yeah.
right from the person who opens the door, the person who answers the phone, all the way through to people who are giving these life-changing smiles to their patients. So yeah, it's a powerful thing. We're going to get into the real throes of why we do what we do, how we do it, and how our listeners can absolutely take away what we're doing and implement it in their own businesses.
But to kick things off, I think with this first episode, we really wanted to kind of get into the nitty gritty, because Josie, it turns out marketing agencies are lying to practices.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk, and let's talk about it, right? I wanted to kick off a little bit with, talking about a lot of agencies they love the lead generation. And I feel like a lot of agencies can do lead generation.
Yeah.
But why do we think leads aren't the most important metric? Like why are so many people doing leads, and why are we combating that? Why are we saying it's not just leads?
It's a really interesting question, because going back even 5 years, the marketing message in the game was, we can assure you 50 leads a month or your money back. We can guarantee you 30 leads a month or we work for free. Leads as a metric now is not what should be being pushed on business owners. It's pretty easy to make a phone ring. It is. It's pretty easy to capture email addresses or form submissions, which is historically what is classed as a lead, right? Somebody's contact details, somebody's initial interest. Marketing agencies now who are pushing that as their main objective are lying that it's the success metric. They're lying. Leads these days don't count for much on their own. The way the industry has moved is that competition, even in a small neighbourhood town, there is likely 3 dental practices offering, let's just say Invisalign for argument's sake. All of them are giving free smile assessments. All of them are chucking in whitening. All of them are adding on some Essex retainers, right? It's not unique anymore. People are scattergunning their inquiries to find the best fit, the best deal. And I hate to use that word because I don't like positioning top tier life-changing treatment based on monetary value, but the best deal. It is a factor. It is. They're looking for the package that best suits the ultimate outcome that they are in search of, right? So let's say Jeanette submits 3 inquiries to her 3 local neighbourhood practices. Is your marketing agency chalking that up as a win? Because they've probably spent 50 to 70 quid getting that click, right? Getting that inquiry. It doesn't mean anything anymore, because if you're only factoring in success as your lead volume, you're ignoring all of the other metrics against that, right? You're ignoring, did they answer the phone? Were you able to successfully contact them? Were you able to even get them on a phone call to discuss getting booked in, let alone getting them booked in for their smile assessment? It doesn't mean anything anymore, okay? So if your marketing agency is coming at you and saying, give me $1,000 for your marketing ad spend, I'm going to get you 50 leads. Fine, give it a go, see what happens. But if your marketing agency isn't punching down into the detail of what they're going to do with those leads, you may as well be giving $1,000 away.
Well, exactly. And I always think like the information giving is so passive, right? It's as passive as liking a post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like people are giving their information away as easily.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays. Yeah. So I think it's such a good point. But I do wonder, why do you think that most agencies stop at inquiry? Why do they stop at lead when it is so important to push further past that?
Because it's easier.
Right.
It's easier. As I said, I think anybody with a brain and a laptop and a bit of experience can launch some ads and they can get some inquiries. They're stopping there because the rest of the path is where the magic happens. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to understand dentistry. It's hard to understand the buying journey that people are looking for now. It's hard to understand the aesthetics of dentistry in 2026 and what people expect when they are contacted by somebody they've submitted their info to. Yeah. And I think that generally, particularly this is controversial, but I call them your bedroom bandits, your one-man bands who set themselves up as an agency. Good for you, make that paper. But it's not full circle 360 marketing anymore. It is okay to generate people leads if the business that you're working with has their processes absolutely nailed, and those leads come in, they're answering them within the first 10 minutes maximum. They're making sure that everybody knows exactly what to do. If someone's on holiday, someone else can pick that up and still get them booked in systematically. There is probably 10 steps after somebody submits their details. And if an agency isn't taking ownership over all of those steps, they're probably not the right choice for a dental marketing agency.
No, I completely agree. And I think it's a really interesting point that you've just made, because like a lot of marketing agencies are leaving it down to the practices. And like you say, if they've got their systems in place and it's a working machine, absolutely fair enough. We've been in this industry long enough to know that that is not the case.
It's not.
So where do you think like the biggest bottlenecks are within practices, and why it doesn't work just handing them leads?
I can often be seen as really quite negative about front of house teams, and it's absolutely not the case.
No.
The reason that I put so much focus on front of house teams, how they work, how they speak, how they deliver their messaging, is because of how important they are in a dental practice.
Okay.
I think business owners will invest in their marketing, and they almost imagine that when people inquire, they're inquiring with them. They're inquiring with the face of the business. They're inquiring with the business owner. Well, no, they're not. They're not. They're inquiring with front of house.
Yeah.
And if the person who picks up that phone is not at the top of their sales game, at the top of their emotional intelligence, their empathy, their understanding of these people, that lead is gone. So the bottleneck for successful marketing, new patient acquisition, lead generation has to fall on front of house.
100%. And I come across it a lot with Google reviews as well. I always find that every single Google review, it speaks about, oh, like Janine on reception was fantastic, or if they've tried to call and they've had a horrible experience, they'll let you know about it, and it's all down to that front of house.
Of course it is.
Which, I think it really does make or break that experience.
First impressions last, right?
Well, this is it, yeah.
You don't get a second chance to make a first impression like we're doing right now, where,
Exactly.
this is our kind of flagship moment. It's welcoming people into the ethos and the culture of who you are as a business, as a company, as a practice.
Exactly.
And if that flops, you've just wasted whatever you've spent acquiring that customer.
1000%. I want to take it back to the leads again. So obviously, I mean, you are queen of pitching, queen of new business, and you are probably taking new business calls weekly at this point. Again, controversially, unlike other agencies, we probably don't lead with number of leads. You might get a marketing agency down the road that's like, oh, we've generated 200 leads for this practice. This is why you should work with us. Why is that still, like, why could that still be classed as like a terrible campaign? Like, why don't we lead with lead volume?
If I was on a new client call and they told me they'd worked with an agency before, general or dental specific, and they said to me, my previous marketer gave me 200 leads in a month and said, this is amazing, I think I'd cry. Generating 200 leads off the bat, or even in a well-established ad campaign, unless you're working with a 7, 8, 9, 10 grand budget, means that you have got scattergun marketing. It is non-specific. You are roping in any Tom, Dick and Harry who just happens to click. Also, what are they qualifying as leads? Are they, some marketers were even going back kind of 15 years and saying that the traffic, the interest, the clicks, the visibility, the cost per metric is people viewing these assets, right?
Yeah.
What is this? What are you calling a lead? Who are these people? Are they educated enough to know that when they receive that initial message or phone call from the dental practice they've inquired with, it's going to be about getting them started on their treatment, right? If you're categorizing a successful campaign as 200 leads, let's say off an average spend of 1,500 quid a month, you've got mass shit.
Yeah, quite frankly, it's so true. And like, I always think it's interesting. Like, we talk a lot about obviously leads and kind of what we keep a really close eye on because we do earn that journey end to end. And I think it's so funny that we're like, we know that Jane, who's 43 and she's really like, we know exactly what her pain point is, her problem is, why she's come to our our practices and that we're managing. And I just think it's so funny that like we know exactly what we're talking about when it comes to our leads. We know exactly why they're qualified. We know when their appointment is, what their problem is. The selling part is really down to the dentist, and it should be easy from that point on, because the people that we are driving, I know I'm biased, but the people we're driving are of quality. We know exactly who they are. They're real people.
They're of quality by the time they've submitted their information, because of the buying journey that they've been through to think, I'm going to submit an inquiry here. And it's not even, I would say, with our structure, our systems, our process, it's not even submitting an inquiry at this stage. It's submitting intent, treatment intent. We are retargeting people anywhere they land online. So they're seeing your information over and over again. It's bespoke, doctor-specific and treatment-specific information for our clients. They are then hitting a dedicated bespoke landing page, which is psychologically designed to lead them through everything they need to consume to make the right decision and think, this is the practice for me. And then they're submitting their treatment intent. They're also then, in our journey, being taken a step further. We're pre-qualifying these intent inquiries with AI conversation immediately as their information hits EnGen, our CRM system. They are getting that message where they're having their initial questions answered. So that weight is being lifted from the front of house team. They're not having to ring up Jane, as you say, who's 53 and has a missing back tooth that's driving her mad because she can't eat properly. They are getting inquiries who know all of this already, because our AI agents have already had this conversation.
Exactly.
They've asked Jane what her dental health is like, when was the last time she had her appointment, last time she had a hygiene appointment. So our practices are getting fully committed, nurtured consultations in their diary. They're receiving them. And this is why it is so much more than a lead game in 2026.
Yeah.
We can confidently say that we are delivering booked smile assessments, that a deposit has been taken for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like FTAs just don't exist in our patient journey. Nobody is going to part with, in this day and age, 30 to 50 quid for a smile assessment and then not show up.
Exactly.
So to go back to your original question of why 200 leads in a single campaign is not a successful metric, how many people are sat in your chair receiving their smile assessments out of those 200 leads?
Exactly.
If it's 3, I'd applaud you.
Yeah, exactly. Whilst we're on that and we're talking about how we earn that journey end to end, what do we do differently? What do you tell everybody what we do different? Obviously, we talk a big game when it comes, like we just said, we get quality leads. How do we actually get those quality leads? And then past that, how do we earn that final end stage as well? So
I kind of alluded to it just now. We're responsible for the lead generation, for the inquiry generation, absolutely. And that is done through years and years and years, decades of rigorous testing with millions of pounds worth of budget to fine tune and get to where we are. So we know that we can give a number guarantee on amount of leads. We can do that. But that's not the game changer anymore. It's not the game changer. So how we do it is we generate the leads and then we pre-qualify them using AI. Okay. So if your dental practice isn't using AI in 2026, you're missing a trick. AI is not there to replace your team. It's there to make your team's work better, more efficient, and to save money on admin, right? AI in dentistry has to be admin support. So we're bringing these inquiries in. We're talking to them immediately. Speed to lead will always win over competition. We are talking to these people within seconds of them submitting their intent. We are asking them the questions that get them to say, yes, 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 buying mind frame, switched on.
Just to interrupt you a second, I also want to add about, because I love EnGen. I think EnGen is one of the most fun. And again, I know I'm biased, but I think it is fantastic. The way it's not just having these questions and asking, it's so natural. It's almost as like we're having a conversation right now.
Yeah.
Right. And so when it's asking those questions, it's not just saying, it's not just listing off prompts. It's actually listening and taking in the information that you're saying and responding in a really human way, which I think is unbelievable.
It is. I have an example of this actually. It was with a brand new on board of a client in London, a Harley Street client in London. So they're prestigious, right? They know exactly what they're doing. They're incredibly aware of the culture and the business and the image and who they want to be. Their reputation is phenomenal. I think they're sitting on something like 255-star Google reviews.
Oh, wow.
Turned on EnGen with our AI chat agents, and we'll say a perturbed gentleman
Yes.
started to have a conversation about dental implants with our AI agents. I log on first thing in the morning, see this conversation has been happening the night before, immediately become nervous.
Yes.
Because the AI agent went through the process, answered his questions, asked him some questions. Are you in any pain? Is it a missing tooth or a broken tooth? When was your last hygiene appointment? He answered the questions. He then started to submit all of his personal dental records, his medication list.
It was handling abuse as well, right? He was being quite aggressive with the agent as well.
At this point, he, of course, our AI agents are so human that he thought that this was a personal representative, a human representative from practice. The AI agent handled it beautifully. I stopped sweating as I read through this conversation first thing in the morning. And then it moved on to, as it would quite naturally, the agent offering him the opportunity to come in and see one of the dental implant surgeons, have a human-to-human conversation, talk about his bespoke needs. This inquirer, this lead, then got seriously upset that the agent was asking him to come into practice during Ramadan. Immediately, I begin to sweat again. Have I even trained this AI agent on how to handle this situation? But because it's such an intelligent model, it, of course, it acknowledged, it understood, and it respectfully said, absolutely no problem. That is a key consideration in this journey. I'm going to be here when you need to chat. Marked in EnGen, marked on the system, the lead as do not contact until a human could interact and maybe call up and get that appointment booked in. I don't expect the AI agent to immediately know the date at the end of Ramadan, right? But what it can do is mark in EnGen that a human, a member of that team needs to contact this person and handle them very sensitively, because not only have we had this kind of personal medical disclosure now, we have lists of medication, we have home address, we have a lot of sensitive information sat in this system. So I have full confidence that the way that we have set up EnGen, the AI systems that we are using, is absolutely our USP. It's a pleasure to read. It's so human. If somebody questions or asks, are you AI? It will absolutely say yes. You know, we're not trying to hoodwink people here.
Exactly.
But it rarely happens, I think, in the amount of checks that I've done over the last 2 years of using AI as our kind of pre-qualification system. We've had 2 leads ask, is this AI?
Yeah. And then from that point, so, you know, it's asked all the questions. It's even taken the deposit at this point. That's how smart this system is. How do we then earn that journey? So obviously, this is where a lot of people fall off, right? A lot of marketing agencies are like, they're in your chair now.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
What do we then do past that point? Once they've booked in, they're in the chair, how do we then make sure that they're not just in the chair, they're actually converting? Because I am extremely proud of our conversion metrics.
I agree. And this is what I mean about end-to-end marketing. It really is. So yeah, fine. We're getting people shown up. We're getting booked, attended, smile assessments, consultations, bums in seats. It actually doesn't stop there. We work with TCOs, practice managers, clinicians on their conversion processes.
Yeah.
We've got digital training suites. We also do day in, day out team training, team call handling on how, when that person is in the chair, they can really connect with them. This is sensitive stuff, particularly dental implants, missing teeth, you know, high ticket treatments. Invisalign to a massive extent. It takes a lot of people a long time to be able to say, I hate this.
Yeah.
I want to fix this.
Yeah.
So if we're getting people in and we're treating them as just a dental patient, no. We need high-end sales techniques here. We need to take the time to train the team that we're working with to connect, to build rapport, to absolutely empathize and to work on the individual's pain points. It's not a cookie cutter system that they're providing, just like Invisalign and dental implants, right? The treatment's bespoke. Yeah. So why shouldn't the smile assessment be bespoke as well?
Completely.
We are owning that conversion process all the way through to them starting treatment.
Absolutely. And that's why that's how Lucy's been fantastic at all of that. I mean, that's why we're
shout out Lucy, client success manager.
Absolutely. She's fantastic. And like that, and I think our clients really do value that as well, which is amazing. So to kind of like wrap this up then, Josie, what's the one thing that you think people should take away from this episode?
Oh, one thing people should take away from this episode. If you're working with a marketing agency, question them on the success metrics that they are presenting to you. Is it a standalone lead volume? Okay, push them on that. Reverse engineer, without getting into kind of the too geeky side of marketing, but reverse engineer what it's actually costing you to get somebody in for a smile assessment, not what it's costing you to get an email address. So I think do some real deep analysis with your marketing team as to what their baseline quality seal is on your accounts. What would you say, Megan?
What the takeaway is? I would completely agree. I think with dental marketing, I think everyone's trying to play that flashy game, volume. Like it is okay to question your agency. I think how many questions do we even get a week? Like just
daily, you know,
yeah.
people need to understand what they're paying for.
Exactly, and that's totally fine. And I think if you do find that your agency is kind of sweating at those questions, they're lying to you.
Dental marketing agency is lying to
you. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for listening. We've had an absolute blast on our first episode. I mean, I hope you have too, Josie. Like, comment, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure that you're following us. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're just watching some clips on Instagram, go over and follow us. It's dominate_dental on absolutely everything. Until next time, this has been Chairside with Dominate Dental.